What happened?
What happened? What's going on here?
I'm a bird, mother. I'm a bird.
Genshin VA stuff. The situation is getting way worse and way more pathetic. Genshin VA just got destroyed live on stream.
Welcome back, guys. Hope you've been having a great weekend and a wonderful Easter. Got something to show you in this video that I think you'll find very interesting. So yesterday I made another video talking about some Genshin VA stuff, and I got a number of comments from people telling me about the situation with the game Nikke, and how Kaylee Mills is voicing a character on that game. I think her name is called Rappy. And they had a live stream yesterday, or the day before yesterday. It was specifically on April 19th. So what is today? One second. Yeah, yesterday. And so in this...
From what I remember, she was the one who was heavily pushing like the, hey, this guy is like stealing jobs. The Japanese voice actor.
Yeah.
And from what I remember, she was the one who said, oh, he barely works anyways. His wife is the one paying the bills anyways. So why does he need this?
Okay, I remember now.
Hour-and-a-half live stream for Nikke, the 2.5 anniversary live stream. There was a moment where Kaylee Mills' character came on screen, and Kaylee Mills was voicing the character, and they had like information about the VA and putting that it was Kaylee Mills. And the live chat began to be filled up with people saying stuff like, recast this VA, LVA, toxic VA. Like, Kaylee Mills got called out on a live stream. It was crazy.
Okay, I don't condone doing this, to be honest. I don't think... I'm assuming, so... it sounds like it's well organized, right? Like people just showing up and doing that.
Okay.
I don't really condone just gathering people and going and doing this.
Yeah, it kind of defeats the whole purpose
Yeah.
of rejecting in a very professional manner.
Yeah. Unless it's her own passive viewers who just tuned in before unfollowing doing that.
I was trying to find that specific part of the live stream, but you know, it's like an hour and a half long. So I was like going through it, trying to find it. And then I actually had someone on Twitter tag me with some screenshots from that part. So I was able to find that part and take some screenshots too.
Nice.
So we'll take a look at the ones that I got and the ones that I was sent. But first, let me also say, glad you guys are enjoying my VTuber model. Seen lots of people saying very nice things. Some people were asking about the design, and it's just like a combo of Venti from Genshin and
that
some
makes
of the IRL
sense.
pics I've posted on Twitter from when I had the black and blue hair. And actually got some art, which is awesome. So Purpleon's art, thank you for this one. This is hilarious. This is from that Karina video the other day with like Paimons and...
I actually love that he uses a VTuber model now.
Yeah.
Nonsense rambling, or I mean, you know, Karina's nonsense rambling. Then I saw this one from Sempiternity. It's just freaking awesome looking. Although I kind of look like I'm dead inside, like I'm just dying. But I guess
yeah, that's Hero Hey after going through all the VA stuff.
Yep.
that is pretty fitting for all the VA brain rot that we've been reading lately. And then we got this one from Cody Sakari, but this one's just cursed, like the He-Man meme. Like what the frick?
I love this.
Anyways, appreciate all you guys. Now on to the main topic. That takes us to Sierra saying, Hirohei, if you want some more further evidence of backlash about Kaylee Mills during the Nikke 2.5 live stream, where Kaylee got on camera, there was a fair amount of the chat room asking for her to be recast out of Rappy's role. And the fact that the people in the chat are actively blaming Genshin, when in reality, the only thing that ties to it being Genshin related is the recast of Kenichi, while Kaylee Mills actively bullied someone and then found out their information through some means is crazy. So the context to that is there was a few people just saying like, oh, like toxic Genshin fans or something, basically, in response to the people who were like calling out Kaylee. The main thing I just want Kaylee to do is just apologize to Jacob publicly. What do you guys think the odds of her doing that would be? There was
I don't think she'll do that, and if she does, it's gonna sound like the most insincere thing.
Yeah.
She already triple down on her thoughts. No matter how she like backpedals on this just to save like her job and save her face, it will come off insincere. I do think she should apologize, but if people accept, if Jacob accepts, that's like his prerogative.
Yeah.
Like I would fully understand if he doesn't. Like, and I would fully understand if he does. And I'll fully understand if he just goes, whatever, I don't care. Like, it's only his place to accept her apology anyways. I was there for that part. I think it was more of a surprise. It was, like, mostly against Kaylee and some confusion. Only, like, 2 people was against it. Oh, okay. So it wasn't, like, an organized thing.
No need for her comments regardless of her personal feelings. Yeah, I do agree with that. And that goes for like any of the VAs who've like harassed Jacob. Even if they disagreed with what he did, the public witch hunt that they put forward against him just makes them all look so bad.
Yeah.
Jacob has the position of Kenichi, and realistically, the strike is in shambles right now. Yeah. It's more than better to just apologize now. The thing is, it seems like it would be like a fake apology at this point, right? Like, if these VAs actually started apologizing, I don't know about y'all. You know, you form your own opinion on it, but personally, I don't think I would believe a single one of them.
Yeah, I completely agree. But again, it's not our place to accept the apology.
I think it would just come off, to me at least, like more damage control.
Yeah.
It's more than better to just apologize now and admit she messed up than to just ignore the bubbling hatred right now that's going to keep brewing. Okay, so check this out. Here's from the live stream. They show Rappy coming on screen. They show Kaylee Mills. And then it's Kaylee Mills talking as Rappy, as this character. And here's the screenshot provided in that tweet right there. Let's take a look. L.
Oh.
Bully VA lol. Replace. Ew.
This was on YouTube.
Boo. Switch VA. Skip. It's her. It's just it's her. Bully VA and L. And then here is the one that I got. Let's take a look at this. L. Fire the VA. Skip. Boo. WVA. We got one like in the VA. Fire. Recast. What happened? Recast.
Honestly, that would have been me just being, what happened?
What happened?
What happened? What's going on here?
Heck yeah. Cute voice. So 2 more supportive ones. But then we got recast. Isn't Rappy's VA a bully? Recast her. Recast. English ruins VA and the original text. Chill, guys. Heart. Kaylee. Fire. Recast, please. Recast. Tomatoes. Is that like throwing tomatoes or something?
Yeah.
Recast.
That's actually
recast
what it
Rappy,
is.
Wild L. Recast L. Recast. And Rappy is ruined. And then we'll take a look at a few more. At the top is the last one we just read. Rappy is ruined. Oh yeah, here's an example of someone blaming Genshin people, as you can see. But out of everything we just read, like I can only see one example of that. Recast. Wait, what did Rappy ENVA do? Why people are so mad right now? L. Kira Buckland, Rappy, please. Recast. Y'all mean chill. This chat is not chill. More tomatoes. Toxic fans. Questions. Some people clearly out of the loop on this.
Yeah. I mean, you cannot expect every single person knowing what's happening on social media. Yeah, it wasn't organized, to my knowledge at least. Even crazier was she had a comment on the live stream after it ended. I went to look for it a few hours later and I couldn't find it. Damn.
Professional. Recaster. Recast Rappy. Recast. Fire Kaylee. Hashtag I stay.
To be fair, I'm not surprised about like people on like YouTube going feral. I've seen some live streams or like premieres where like people would just go ballistic there, where even I would be like, oh my god, what is happening?
Based. Recast this VA. Recast LVA. What did she do? Recast. Thank Miss Sillies. I like Mikasa, Karina friend, and recast Rappy. Okay, let me know what you guys think about that. And I've got one more thing to show you here that I think you'll find very funny. Going over to Blue Sky. Do you remember Little Karibo? So bros.
Oh my god, we're back
Of course.
we're back to Little Karibo and Blue Sky. It's like it's the continuation of the continuation of the continuation now.
Was kind of mad. Check this out. Yesterday he posted this rant saying, if you see all the usual grifters and anger harvesting content creators getting behind the actors have no right or reason to strike Hoyo titles, the union is a scam, etc. argument, I'd ask those of you who are rational to consider how steeped in ignorance that take must be to catch fire that quick. I'm talking to actors as well, because I know there's likely new or hopeful actors that are watching this play out, unsure what to believe. Ask yourself if you trust the people striking for months, or the people doing everything in their power to undermine that in the span of a few weeks. What does...
Okay, but like, Genshin is not a union job.
It isn't.
So your strike automatically doesn't really apply to Genshin because it's also non-union work and not non-union company. So
It's as well as an international company.
him saying these things, I don't think it applies here. If this was literally any other job and someone stopped working for months, I think logically speaking, they would be fired. Exactly, be right. I
Yeah.
think like 2 weeks in, they would be fired if it would be any other industry.
Does them striking for months have to do with anything? That doesn't by default give them additional merit. So they're striking for months and people have been calling them out for weeks. So what? It doesn't even have any relevancy. And for the record, I've been criticizing their strike for over a month, and I
Yeah.
know a lot of people in the Genshin fandom and Hoyoverse fandom in general have also been criticizing their strike for over a month. So once again, I don't think his argument has any merit, but even his own logic doesn't even really support his argument. And then, of course, Little Kribo is also misrepresenting some of the main issues that people actually have. For example,
Also, how many people have seen the side-by-side comparison of like the old VA and the new VA? It's not a lot of a difference, right? It just like the tone and how deep the voice goes a little bit different. Will I say the old VA is much worse than the new one? No. Would I say the new one is worse than the old one? Also no. I think they're both good voice actors, even though the first one, his personality is doo-doo. It's just the voice is a tiny bit different. That's all.
he doesn't make any mention of one of the biggest issues, if not the biggest issue that people have, which is that these union VAs are basically trying to turn the entire job into a union project, which would then have a high probability of negatively impacting the non-union talent, and that these VAs have been trying to use the AI argument as a sort of Trojan horse in an attempt to manipulate the public into supporting their strike or collective work refusal, while they also don't disclose all of the reasons that they're holding that collective work refusal. To put it simply, they were attempting to play the fandom and the internet like a bunch of fools. And then when that doesn't work...
Okay. I know this is gonna be random. I'm a little bit judging him that he flew with the Star-Lord, but he still stayed in Nemours out and just stood in the out and shot him and died that way. Like, if he would have like flown a little further and a little to the side, he would have been fine. Why did he do that?
That they're holding that collective work refusal. To put it simply, they were attempting to play the fandom and the internet like a bunch of fools. And then when that doesn't work, they constantly try and misrepresent the issues that we all have, call us toxic, etc., etc.
Stop right there, criminal scum. Nobody breaks the law on my watch.
The fact they're trying to oust a man supporting his family, while excusing themselves for their own personal problems, reveals increased selfishness.
But that's the thing. Even if he didn't have a wife and kids, it still wouldn't be right.
I thought this post from Little Kribo was also funny. This is from today, and it looks like the person he's responding to ended up deleting their post, but here's what Little Kribo says. Please, no matter which side of the issue you're on, stop referring to actors striking as drama. Filtering this whole situation through that lens is why you have people misunderstanding and misinforming. It's always so ironic when they talk about misinformation. And specifically why you have YouTubers frothing at the mouth for content. It's not drama. The more you approach...
I don't deny there's definitely YouTubers who see it as profit, but there's also a lot of YouTubers who genuinely love Genshin a lot, and a lot of YouTubers who love gacha games. I think they do have a valid place to actually speak up about their grievances if they have a platform.
Approach this thinking of it as some sort of internal debate, the less you understand the actual context and stakes. Yeah, guys, don't you dare have nuance. Don't you dare question anything. You're supposed to blindly support the VAs. Bro, get out of here. You believe that if actors aren't sharing everything about the strike, that they're hiding things. Okay, so let's address this point that Little Kribo really doesn't seem to understand. If this was all a private matter, if they were handling this all privately, this was all a private negotiation, they don't need to tell us anything. But that's not what's going on. They've made this a very public matter. They've been demanding that the public support them. They've been acting like they're entitled to the public supporting them and that we're obligated to support them. But then they only tell us like one specific thing. Oh, we just want AI protections, guys. Don't you feel bad for us? Don't you see how that's such a good thing? Like, you understand that. And to be fair, yeah, a lot of us understand the concern about the whole AI thing. But it turned out there was a lot more to all of this than just the AI stuff. As I mentioned earlier, it turned out that was basically just a Trojan horse for the full list of their real demands. And it shouldn't be surprising to Little Kribo or any of these other people that, wow, the public doesn't like being
I have to question, do they actually don't understand, or they're just preferring to play down?
They're definitely downplaying what they're after.
But there would be at least a couple of them that genuinely are that dumb.
being manipulated by a bunch of entitled individuals, amplifying that even more when they go out and harass people like Jacob Takanashi. You know, there's a whole bunch of issues with all of this stuff, but I'm not going to rehash everything. Chances are you've been following this news and you're familiar with all that. It's been a lot, right? But you get the point. So let's see what else Little Grebo has to say. You believe that if actors are angry at someone, it must be bullying. Oh my gosh, dude, why do these people gaslight so much? That is like their like main tactic. Oh, let's gaslight people. We're not actually bullying anyone.
You believe that if actors aren't sharing everything about the strike, that they're hiding things? You believe that if actors are angry at someone, it must be bullying? Okay, you can be angry at whoever you want, but the fact remains that yes, you were bullying. You were literally sending your fandoms after a specific person. You were grouping up and sending the combined fandom after one specific person. Okay, fine. We can stop calling it bullying, but we can then call it organized harassment. Organized mass online harassment.
Yeah.
Does that sound better than bullying? If he wants to be technical about it.
We're just angry. Or the post we read the other day. They're like, oh, no one's getting harassed. People are just venting. That's all.
What?
It is not a debate. It is not drama. It is workers and artists seeing a genuine threat to the stability of their industry. It is not.
I really don't understand why people use social media as their personal diaries. I think it's honestly just an excuse to get away with things. Being like, oh, I'm just venting.
Stop right there, criminal scum! Nobody breaks the law on my watch!
Drama, the same way that people marching in the streets for their rights is not drama. I'd beg you to examine why you view it that way, should you still want to. And finally, we'll take a look at this post from Little Grebo from April 18th, 2 days ago. It says, Hoyo writes quote-unquote scheduling issues so that situations like fans denying the strike exists can happen because they're actively undermining it with that language.
I wonder if these people know they're not helping their cause. I wonder that too, because there has to be some sort of a delusion that some people think they're helping, but some people are fully aware that they're not helping.
Actors who were striking have been recast, and the fandom has insisted they weren't striking because Hoyo wants that confusion. I mean, is it a collective work refusal? Is it a strike? Like, I don't even think Hoyo wants the confusion. I think you guys are just very inconsistent. And I think Hoyo has been more than generous to all these people. Hoyo could have long replaced these people.
Yeah, considering that it took like 6 months. I wonder how much of a work delay was there that happened.
Yeah.
If there was any at all. That's what makes me wonder. Were they patient, or it was just like, hey, it's not that super urgent right now. We'll give them a little bit of time to get it all out of their system.
But they haven't. They've actually been pretty nice, all considered. And simply calling it a scheduling issue is also kind of generous. They could have just put like, oh, that they're refusing the work or something. But no, they're like scheduling issues. You know, that's all that is. It's weird how he thinks this like makes Hoyoverse look bad, but if anything, it makes them look bad. It makes Hoyoverse look like better.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is,
like, imagine the scenario, the universe, the plot line where Hoyoverse is the good guy and you're the bad guy. Imagine that timeline. That is crazy because Hoyoverse is not a good guy, but in this scenario, they are.
A very difficult thing to do. People generally won't do that, but somehow these people have, these VAs have managed to make that happen. So great job, guys. If you ask Hoyo fans, it's because there is no strike, which is absurd. There is a strike, and the number of performers who feel one of the biggest video games in the world should have AI protections are fighting. There we go again with the gaslighting. I know this is like a day before the last post we read, but the point is they've been doing this. They've been doing this for so long now. Come on.
Yeah.
It is
like, aren't they tired themselves? Like, it's been now a very long time. Aren't they tired themselves putting their foot in their mouth?
never been scheduling issues. It has always been workers fighting for what's right. I've spoken directly to actors who are striking that have been recast, who are too scared to talk about it. I do not blame them based on how everything played out, but a situation where actors are that scared? Is that where we're at? Surely you
They lied about it being a schedule issue. In reality, they were on strike while claiming it is just a schedule issue. Then, months later, they slowly started getting replaced. And now they're like, we're so scared that we might get replaced. What? I would be scared too if I didn't show up to work for 5 months. I would be scared too if I'm getting replaced.
can understand why they'd withhold the work. Hey, Little Kribo, if you care about actors being scared to post things publicly, what do you feel about Jacob Takanashi making a public post and then getting harassed by a bunch of people all in the same union? It's like a ton of people all ganging up on one dude. Oh,
Yeah. His response was to it doubling down and melting down on Jacob even more.
Yep.
that's right. You were also insulting Jacob
There you go.
Takanashi, weren't you? And I would also ask you if part of the enjoyment of these games is that you like the actors' intrinsic performances. Don't you want them to not be terrified of their voice print being used against their will? Of a company calculatedly undermining their fight. This is all something I've addressed before. I'm not going to say anything else about that.
Honestly, I would be more afraid of my quote unquote colleagues attacking me on a daily basis publicly than me being replaced by AI. But hey, that's just me.
Why wouldn't you support them? If you're so concerned with actors being recast, a thing that is literally happening with a manipulated narrative in tow right now, the most likely way to keep all the actors is to support the strike. Just support the strike, guys. Don't question anything.
That is... I'm sorry, but that's just crazy.
Yeah.
They're being recast now because Hoyo refuses to acknowledge or agree to their terms. Okay, cool story, bro.
Honestly, yeah, that's like the best ending to this. Cool story, bro.
Cool story, man.
Anyway.